It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline Bling.
That can only mean one thing.
When we are in here. Yes, it's the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing. Zola Nene is in the house. It's a Wednesday. You know what time it is. I'm very, very excited. It's my favorite part of the week of the show, right? Where we answer all of your culinary conundrums. Of course, you give us a call on 021-430-9881. All right, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Yeah, you know, I can't deal with your levels of like just style and everything. The way you even just duke together, you do it. You do it right. Listen, we're going to be taking your calls. We have a call on the line.
Already?
I say, Vanessa, hello to you.
Hello, Kit. Hello, Zola. Vanessa from London.
So good to hear your smiling voice this morning, Vanessa.
Listen, Kit, I've got a question for Zola, please. Zola, listen, I've got a lot of sun-dried tomatoes, okay? And I do not know how to use them in anything. And I mean, they're going to expire, I suppose, next week. And I'm sitting with a batch, and please tell me, Zola, what to do. Stupid.
What to do, Zola? Sun-dried tomatoes are plenty. What do we do with them?
Okay, so if you have the very dry ones, so these are the very dry ones, you can actually elongate their shelf life by putting them into olive oil or lengthen.
Extend.
That's it.
Yes.
Extend their shelf life by putting them in olive oil. So heat the olive oil, then put the sun-dried tomatoes in the olive oil, then you can keep them in the fridge, and they'll last for months and months and months.
So you preserve them that way.
Correct.
Good.
So I love sun-dried tomatoes. They're very versatile. You can use them in pastas. You can use them in sauces and all sorts of things. They add an earthiness and like a very, very strong tomato flavor.
Umami.
But my favorite way to use them is in scones. So we're going to make some sun-dried tomato scones in a flash.
Vanessa, check it out.
All you need is some flour, just regular cake flour. The recipe is on Expresso.com.
Yeah.
Baking powder, a bit of oregano, mix that up just quickly, just like this. And with scones, it's great to use actually a knife just like this, because then you don't, fiddle with it too much. Cut the butter into the dry ingredients just like so.
Okay. How does that help when you're cutting it in? It seems like it just wastes time.
No, because the flakier you can make your scones, the better. So if you're not sort of melting the butter with the warmth of your hands, it's all the better for the scones. And also little big chunks of butter are also really great for texture scones.
Okay, good.
Then a bit of Parmesan cheese, because Parmesan cheese and sun-dried tomatoes go really well together.
Okey-dokey.
Mix these two together just like this. So you can see it's a very rough.
It's already starting to get that texture.
It's already starting to.
This is speed
to become
scones.
floury, and then an egg in the middle of that. Keep using your knife just to fold that in. Then you're going to add just enough milk to form it into a dough.
Okay.
And then you can shape it into scones. You can actually freeze these and then bake them from frozen. So you can make a huge batch.
That's another
then keep them in the freezer, and then when your guests come, pop them into the oven. And then you've got delicious, fresh, warm scones to serve your guests.
Sweet.
You could also use your sun-dried tomatoes in things like muffins.
Yeah.
They're great in dough. So if you're going to make vetkoek, make a savory one and put some sun-dried tomatoes in the dough and then fry them, and then that's delicious.
Okay.
So, I mean, your sun-dried tomatoes are very versatile. You can use them in so many ways. But just because you say yours are going to expire soon, put them in that olive oil so you can have a little bit extra time with them.
Excellent stuff. All right, so we'll do that.
Thanks, Zola.
Vanessa,
It's a pleasure,
when you try this at home, please take a picture and send it to us, and let's see how your scones turn out, okay?
Oh, okay.
You are fantastic. I love the smile in your voice. Listen, you can also find this recipe on expressoshow.com. But while we make our scones, or scones, depending on how you like to call them, do give us a call on 021-430-9881. We'll be back with the Culinary Hotline Bling.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline Bling. What's that?
Come to your house.
You come to my house. I will wash them for you. Anyway, you're in our kitchen right now. 021-430-9881 is the number you call for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing. We have a caller on the line. Can you believe it? Are you okay? Are you right?
No,
you sure you're right? Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you? Who am I speaking to on the line?
I am speaking to Fugu.
I beg your pardon?
Fugu, G-U-D-U, calling from
Gugu. Etewi. Unjani Gugu.
I'm okay.
Good. What's your...
Please to you, Expresso family.
Oh, lovely to have you. What is your question?
My question is how to make pie pastry. for 6 servings with bottom and top.
Okay, so we're talking about pie pastry, right?
Yeah.
So you want to get the bottom of it right,
Full.
nice, full.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's make you some pie pastry.
Some pie
Gugu.
pastry. Okay, so there are 3 rules when making pastry.
Yes.
You have to keep everything cold. You have to mix it as little as possible, and you have to make sure that you rest the pastry before you use it.
Okay.
So those are the 3 golden rules when it comes to pastry making.
Cold,
Okay?
don't overmix, rest.
Rest.
Cool.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you have a food processor, it's so much easier because then your warm hands aren't warming up the pastry.
Yes.
So it's best to do it in a food processor. If you don't have one, you can actually still do it with your hands. You just must make sure, and a wooden spoon, absolutely. Just make sure that you rest it in the fridge for long enough so that it all chills again. Okay, so this is how you make it. This is some cake flour going in here. And pastry, to make it flaky and really short,
Yes.
which is why it sort of breaks
that
exactly.
snap.
The snap. Is because it has so much butter in it. So, some pastry recipes actually even have equal parts flour to equal parts
Butter.
butter, absolutely. So we're going to make a sweet pastry this morning. If you don't want to make a sweet one, just don't add the icing sugar.
Yeah, carry
Are
on.
you okay?
I just had a bit of a puff on.
Okay. So that's some flour, some butter, and some icing
Yeah.
sugar for this one. Okay. Then we're going to, if you want to actually add Parmesan cheese instead of the icing sugar, that would also be really
For a more
delicious.
savoury.
For like a chicken pie or something like that. That would be
Lovely.
great. Okay. So then into the mix. Oh wait, I'm about
Please
to
close it properly. We're
I
going to
was
have
about-
flour all over our
Wait,
faces.
we are. Okay, there we go. So
we go.
then mix it or pulse it.
I've
is
got a
even
question.
better.
I've got
Yes.
a question. When it comes to making things like pie pastry, right? You're having fun.
Yes.
Is it precise? Like when you bake, the ingredients must be measured precisely.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. This is just as important as if you're making a sponge cake.
Yes.
Make sure your measurements are precise for your pastry.
Excellent.
Okay. Then to this, to enrich in it, we're going to add some egg yolks. Okay, so that goes in here.
How many? 3.
That was 3. Yes.
So you split them from the egg whites.
Correct. The recipe is also on the website.
Expressoshow.com.
Yep. And then ice cold water. So even if you can put some ice blocks in here, that would be great. And I'm going to pour it in while I mix, and you're going to watch the pastry form. Okay, so we pour a little bit in, and you can see it all starting to come together.
Wow.
Can you see? And then you want to stop.
Wow.
Bring it together into a ball. Roll it in some more flour if it is too sticky. Then you want.
I just wanted to look because I'm looking from the side, and while you were adding the water, I wasn't quite sure how much you added in order for it to form the consistency you want.
So go
for it.
slowly. So a little bit at a time. So maybe a teaspoon at a time until you see that the pastry's coming together. Form it into a ball. Cling wrap and then into the fridge to rest for at least an hour before you roll it out and you line your pastry case or
Yes.
your tart tin. And that's as easy as it is.
So this will be the same pastry that goes at the bottom.
At the bottom?
Put your filling in, and the same that goes on the top.
At the top, absolutely.
Okay.
And the problem is when you have pastry at the bottom is a soggy bottom. You don't want a soggy bottom.
we
Make
don't like
sure
soggy
you
bottoms.
blind bake the pastry. So bake it before you put the filling in.
Okay, great
Yeah.
stuff. The recipe is available on expressoshow.com.
Absolutely. We have many pastry recipes on the website.
Yeah, so Google, you'll try it out at home, ne?
Okay, thank
And
you.
then when
very
it
much.
works out, send us a picture and tell us on, please.
Yeah.
Excellent,
Thank you,
Google from
Google.
Durban there. Beautiful. That's quite nice. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Zola. Okay, we're going to be back again with the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. Very shortly.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling.
That can only mean one thing. Yes, we're shaking things up in the kitchen. Zola Nene in the house. It's the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. You give us a call. I love that at the back. 0214309881. Carmen from Cape Town is on the line. Good morning, Carmen.
Good morning, Katlejo. Good morning, team.
Great to have you on the line, Carmen. What's your question?
I would like to know, some recipes always call for onion powder or garlic powder. Do
Yes.
you use it instead of the fish?
Ooh.
Or what is the thing?
Okay, so a lot of American style recipes, so barbecue sauces and those type of things,
Yeah.
use onion or garlic powder. It's real garlic, so let's not talk about real and fake garlic. It is real garlic.
It's not fake news. Not
it's
fake
just
news.
dehydrated and ground up and made into a spice. It's like dried ginger, for example. It's exactly
Yeah.
the same concept. You can interchange the two, but usually, the onion powder and the garlic powder dissolves into liquids. Whereas if you were to chop up some garlic or even crush garlic, you still get the bits in it. So you can interchange the two. It just depends on what you're making. So if I was making a pasta sauce, for example, I'd definitely use the fresh garlic because you want that sort of, punch of garlic flavor, that fresh garlic flavor. But if I was making a sauce, for example, I might want a little bit of a mild garlic. Or if I was crumbing chicken and I wanted to add, garlic flavor to the crumb, I would then use the powdered garlic or the powdered onion. So you can use both. They both are garlic. But it's just up to you.
Just in different forms.
Yeah, in different forms.
Is the rule that...
One is a spice and one is fresh.
Is the rule that fresh equals more flavor?
Not always.
Not always?
Not
Depends
always.
on the spice?
It depends on the spice.
We need to go back to India. Just so we can have we need to have like a little diagram, that like spectrum of
Exactly.
which spices apply where. But thank you very much. Great question, Carmen. Let's talk about icing. One question that we did get was from Andrea Lyons, who said, "I'd like to know how to make my own marzipan icing at home." And then also on this little station over here, we're going to talk about making the perfect basic icing. But let's start with the marzipan first, shall we?
Okay, so marzipan icing is something, it's very old world.
Yes.
A lot of older people, really enjoy marzipan because it's traditional in Christmas cakes and cakes as such.
Yes.
Because people, it's sort of the layer underneath the white layer on a wedding cake, traditional wedding cake.
That's what it is.
So it's got an almond flavor to it. Here, you taste some.
Almond, please.
Almond, excuse me.
Here we go.
You can make it at home yourself, but you can also buy it, and it's equally as good. You see, it's an old flavour.
It reminds me of something back home, like Christmas cake, grandmother
and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Very simple to make.
Wow.
All you need, put it into a food processor, very quick to make. Ground almonds, icing sugar. Mix those together in a food processor. Then you want to add the almond essence, just to pump up that almond flavour from the nuts. And then you add some egg white, and that'll come together to a dough. Take it out of the machine, roll it in some more icing sugar just to get the firmness, because this is the texture that you're looking for. And that's it. It's only these ingredients.
I've just realized that for the first time in my life, I've just tasted what almonds taste like. You know what I mean? Like when you have it in ice cream and it's crunchy, 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 you swallow and it's done.
Right.
With that, I've just gotten the taste.
Exactly. It's an almond icing, basically.
Wow. Okay.
That's
great
all
stuff.
marzipan is. Very
Let's
simple
talk
to
about
make.
here a question that came through from Shannon Defile. Oh, Defile. Who said, "How does one make the perfect icing?"
The perfect butter icing. Kat, you're going to be my machine, so
Go.
you take that. All you need is some butter softened. Whisk, whisk, whisk. A bit of flavouring and some icing sugar. The ratios that I usually work with is 1 part butter to about 3 parts icing sugar. So all you do is mix these together. Add a flavouring. So if you wanted vanilla icing, you'd add vanilla essence. If you wanted lemon icing, you'd add either lemon essence or lemon zest.
Okay.
If you wanted some chocolate icing, you then... sorry. Then you would substitute about a cup of this icing sugar for cocoa powder. Then you add your flavouring. Then you mix. You can use a machine or you could use a katlejo. mix until it's smooth. And then you can just spread it on top of your cakes, on top of your cupcakes, on whatever you like.
Terms and conditions apply. The katlejo messes. The machine might not.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
so you can see it's coming. It's going to come together and become really smooth, spreadable, and then you can use it as you would use icing.
Okay, so I'm about 30
close.
seconds
Look
into
at
this. Yeah, so when we come back, hopefully it will be done. I'm just going to carry on with it.
Okay, carry on.
Okay, cool.
Carry on.
Here we go.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling.
Welcome back to Culinary Zola's cupcake icing making business. No, I'm lying. It's the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing. We got a call on the line. Bernie from PE. Good morning, Bernie.
Hi, Bernie.
Morning, Culinary and Zola. I just want to know here that making banana loaf.
Yes.
Do I still need to use eggs into it?
Okay.
You do? You do need some eggs. It makes it so much more richer. It makes it also lighter. It also helps with the raising.
Yes.
There are recipes that don't use egg. And we do have quite a few recipes on the website as well for different types of banana loaf. But traditionally, yes, it does get bananas as well as eggs.
Fantastic, Bernie. Thank you so much. Send us a picture of your banana loaf. Maybe even invite us
Bernie.
for banana loaf and cookies.
Okay,
One of my
thanks,
favorites. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay, thanks, bye. Let's take this question. Whenever, this is from Geraldine from Grassy Park, who says, whenever she makes a fridge tart, right? She finds that the jelly cracks while setting. Geraldine, you're on the line right now. Geraldine, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, tell us about your culinary conundrum while you're making a fridge tart. What's happening?
Do I make a flip shot?
Yes.
I can't understand it because it's very not clear.
Okay, so tell us, what is your question?
Oh, for the fridge start.
Yes. So you said here that, go ahead, go.
Yeah. If I put on my jelly,
Yeah.
my fruit, and then my jelly on top. And I put it on a plate, and I put it in the fridge again. If I take it out, then the jelly is cracked.
Okay, all right. Let's take that on.
Okay, so jelly is quite a sensitive or delicate substance. So it's probably the fruit that you're putting underneath it. It's cracking it up. So maybe next time, set your fridge tart, then put the fruit on top. Then you'll find that it won't set. Also, if your jelly is too thick, it also has a tendency to crack when you sort of take it out the fridge. So the solution there is literally what's happening is the moisture from the fruit is sort of dissolving the gelatin, and that's what's causing it to crack. It's sort of weakening the structure, if you will.
Okay.
Absolutely. So this is my version of a fridge tart, and all I do is put the fruit on top, and look at that. It's beautifully set,
Goodness.
and there's no crackerage.
That looks so
Look how pretty. Isn't it?
What's in there? What's underneath? What's the
Okay, so
crumbs?
at the bottom we've got some biscuit and some butter mixed together. Then the filling, the jelly filling, the fridge tart filling, is some strawberry jelly that you mix with some hot water, cream cheese, whipped cream, mix the three together, pop it into whatever mold that you're having, put that in the fridge to set, and then pop your fruit on top.
Yeah, okay. As simple as that. Geraldine, thank you so much for your question. Thank you to everybody that called in with their questions, and on Facebook, of course. Keep sending them through to us. Zola Nene. We'll see you next week for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing.